Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's pretty important, even if you don't think about it much.
That's right.
Soil.
Yeah.
It's way more than just dirt,
It really is.
and it impacts all of us.
Yeah, whether we realize it or not.
Have you ever wondered what makes plants grow,
Yeah.
or where our food comes from?
Good questions.
Well, soil is a huge part of the answer. It's a fascinating world down there.
Soil is actually a mix of stuff. You've got these tiny bits of broken down rocks.
Okay.
We call those mineral particles. And then you've got organic matter, which is decomposed plants and animals.
Oh, wow.
Plus there's air and water hanging out in the spaces between everything.
So it's like a whole ecosystem down there.
Exactly. And the balance of all those ingredients, that's what makes some soil super fertile for growing things, while other soil, well, not so much.
Okay, so it's more than just dirt. But why should we care about soil if we don't live on a farm?
You know, that's a common misconception. Think about it. Every plant needs soil to survive, right?
Yeah.
And since plants are the basis of pretty much all food chains, that means that soil is essential for everything we eat.
Wow.
So no healthy soil, no pizza toppings,
Oh, no.
no burgers,
Right.
no fries. You get the idea.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
So even if we live in a city, soil's still crucial.
Absolutely. And beyond food, soil does a ton of other important stuff, you know?
Okay.
It filters our water, it stores carbon, which helps with climate change, and even provides a home for millions of tiny creatures that keep the whole system working.
So soil sounds like a superhero.
It kind of is, but even superheroes need help sometimes.
Okay, so we know what soil is, we know why it's important. You mentioned different types of soil. What makes them different?
It all kind of boils down to those mineral particles we talked about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Different sizes give the soil different textures. The big ones, they make sand, which feels really gritty. Silt is finer, kind of smooth. And clay is the smallest, so it feels sticky.
So sandy beaches, muddy fields after rain, that's all about particle size.
Exactly. Now imagine mixing those in just the right way, and you get loam.
Loam, that sounds familiar.
It does, right? That's because loam is the gold standard for growing most crops. It's got a perfect balance of sand, silt, and clay, about 40% each for sand and silt, and then 20% clay. This magic mix means water drains well, but the soil still holds enough moisture for the plants to thrive. Plus, it's full of nutrients. Think of it like the ultimate plant food.
Loam sounds amazing. So how do we know if our soil is sandy or loamy or something else?
There's this simple test you can do called the jar test.
Okay.
You just take a jar, you fill it up with some water and a bit of your soil, shake it up, and let it settle. The different particle sizes will settle into layers, and you can see the proportions.
That sounds like a fun science experiment.
Yeah, it is.
So besides texture, what else makes soil special?
Well, there's permeability, how easily water flows through it. You know, think about pouring water on the sand at the beach. It disappears quickly because sand is very permeable. But clay, like in that muddy field, is much less permeable. So the water sits around longer.
And what about pH? That's something we've heard about, but what does it actually mean for soil?
pH tells us how acidic or alkaline something is. Just like some candies are sour and others are sweet, you know?
Right.
Soil can be acidic or neutral or alkaline. And just like us, plants have preferences. Most of them like it neutral, not too sour, not too sweet. If the soil is too far off, they might not be able to get the nutrients they need.
So the right pH is like giving plants their favorite snack.
You got it. Now, speaking of snacks, plants need certain nutrients from the soil to grow healthy and strong, you know?
Oh,
Think of it like they're vitamins.
okay.
Things like nitrogen for leafy greens, phosphorus for strong roots, and potassium for overall health.
Wow, soil is way more complex than I ever realized.
Yeah.
So we've got these different soil types with different properties, and plants need the right kind to thrive. But is there anything that can damage soil?
Unfortunately, yeah. One of the biggest problems is erosion.
Erosion? What's that?
Imagine the top layer of soil, called topsoil, as the Earth's skin, right?
Oh, okay.
It's where most of the nutrients and organic matter hang out. Now, wind and water can wear away at that topsoil, especially if it's left exposed. It's like slowly stripping away the most fertile layer, leaving behind less productive soil.
That doesn't sound good.
It's not. Think of it this way. If we lose topsoil, it's like losing the foundation of our food system. It becomes harder to grow crops, which means less food for everyone.
So how do we protect topsoil from erosion?
Well, there are some clever techniques that farmers and environmentalists use. It's like giving soil its own suit of armor.
A suit of armor for soil. Tell me more.
So one technique is called cover cropping.
Okay.
It's like giving the soil a cozy blanket to protect it from the elements. Farmers will plant these crops like clover or rye in between their main crops, and these cover crops, they act like a living mulch, preventing the soil from being exposed to wind and rain.
That's pretty smart. What else can we do?
Another technique is contour plowing. Instead of plowing straight up and down a hill, farmers follow the natural curves of the land.
Okay.
This helps slow down water runoff so the soil doesn't get washed away as easily.
So it's like working with nature instead of against it.
Exactly. And then for really steep slopes, there's terracing,
Okay.
creating these step-like structures on the hillsides. It's like building little dams to hold the soil in place and prevent it from washing downhill.
Those are some pretty cool techniques. So we can help protect soil from erosion. But what about the future of farming? Is technology playing a role in how we understand and manage soil?
Absolutely. Technology is revolutionizing the way we think about soil. Imagine, drones flying over fields, sensors buried in the ground,
Oh,
and computers crunching all this data to give farmers a detailed report card on their soil's health.
that sounds futuristic. What kind of information can they get?
All sorts, really. They can get precise information about moisture levels, nutrient content, and even potential problems like pests or diseases. This approach is called precision agriculture,
Okay.
and it allows farmers to make smarter decisions about how to care for their soil using just the right amount of water and fertilizer.
It's like giving farmers superpowers.
In a way, yeah, it is. It's all about using technology to make farming more efficient and sustainable.
So we're learning how to protect soil and even enhance it with technology.
Yeah.
But how does soil fit into the whole climate change conversation?
Soil and climate change. That's a fascinating connection. You see, soil is a major player in regulating our planet's temperature. It's like a giant vault for carbon.
A carbon vault, how does that work?
Remember how we talked about organic matter in soil?
Yeah.
Well, that organic matter is made up of carbon, and soil can store massive amounts of it. This process, called carbon sequestration, helps keep carbon out of the atmosphere where it contributes to climate change.
So healthy soil helps fight climate change.
Exactly. But here's the problem. When we cut down forests or degrade soil through unsustainable farming practices, we release that stored carbon back into the atmosphere.
Oh,
It's like opening up the vault and letting all the carbon escape.
that's not good.
No, it's not. But the good news is we can help soil do its job. By protecting forests, planting trees, and using sustainable farming techniques, we can keep soil healthy and carbon-rich. And that, in turn, helps combat climate change.
Wow, soil's a climate change superhero.
It is, and one we need to protect.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, both literally and figuratively.
We have.
It's clear that soil is more than just dirt. It's a complex, living ecosystem that plays a vital role in our lives and the health of our planet. We've learned about the different types of soil, the challenges it faces, and some of the amazing things people are doing to protect and enhance it. But this is just the beginning of our exploration.